Hi, my name's Esther Quaitmere and I have Tourette syndrome. In this video, I'm going to explain what it's like for me to race with Tourette syndrome. If you're new around here, I have a PhD in engineering. I like keeping my classic cars on the road and being part of a racing team. If that's your kind of thing, grab those helmets, subscribe, and let's get on with the video. One of the biggest comments I get is, "You don't look like you have Tourette's. I can't see it. Why aren't you ticking? Why aren't you swearing?" Did you see it then? Possibly not. You probably didn't notice the times I ticked, and some of those I didn't tick. Ooh, we shall never know. But I don't think you'd know that these people had Tourette, because only 10% of people who have Tourette's have coprolalia. I don't tick all the time, it comes in waves. I'm not going to talk about what Tourette's is or all the comorbids that come along with Tourette's, as there's just too many to think about. I'm also not going to talk about what it was like to have Tourette's as a kid. I had adult onset Tourette's, so it came out when I was May of 2016, when I was 28, and I got diagnosed in 2018. What we're here to talk about is what it's like to race with Tourette's. There are a few things that I try and do to help with race days to just try and reduce my tics and the tic sensation. What a race day feels like for a Tourette's person is you've got the assembly area where you wait to go on to the track and wait to start the race. Here is when you feel very ticky. So I liken my Tourette's to needing to go to the toilet. So you might have the urge to go to the toilet, but you can sort of suppress it. And if you're focused on something else, that can help with being able to suppress. When you're in an assembly area, you will find that a lot of the drivers will be going for nervous wheeze. It's something that we do because we get really nervous and we think, oh, we might need to go to the toilet midway round. But the last thing you're thinking about is going to the toilet, which is the same with the tics. So in the assembly area, I might be feeling really ticky. Sometimes I'm not, sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm worried about ticking and that makes me tick more. But it's just quite a high nervous area to be in. When you're actually racing, gender, disabilities, it kind of you're just all on an even playing field. You're all just trying to get round the corner on the straight as fast as you can, which is one thing that I really like about racing. So when I race, I sometimes wear earplugs to just help sort of reduce the noise slightly. I race classic cars, which are noisy anyway, so it just really helps like dull the noise, and it helps with the frequencies and things of the noise. But obviously you do have to listen to the noise in order to know when to change gear and those sorts of things. So after the race, your adrenaline's really high. Everyone's coming to congratulate you, possibly on winning, possibly on just not making a fool of yourself. And everyone's just around, and the adrenaline is still kicking in, still high. It's then, for me, it kicks in after that. Usually when I've suppressed all day, I then come to a safe space and I have a tic attack, which I guess is like needing to go to the toilet and then finally getting to the toilet and bursting. So it can be quite scary to look at, I think. It can look like a seizure, but it's quite a relief sometimes. For the first few minutes, it's kind of like a relief to get them out, and then afterwards it's like, okay, this is really tiring now. And you don't quite know how long tic attacks are gonna last. There's a really good video that my boyfriend made me that shows just how, when we were at track day, that just shows how I can be ticking in the pit lane and in the garages and ticking around, and then as soon as we get on track, you can almost see the switch has gone, the focus is on, the adrenaline kicks in, it just is go time, just go time. It's usually the worst tics come after. So I was in the 24-hour race. We got very little sleep. It's the first time that I'd raced in the car, new people. It was a lot, and I got through the race fine, and then after the race, it all came out. One thing I found about coming to Tourette's late in life is the fact that you have to push out of your comfort zone so much. I really try hard not to let it stop me. Each year I like to go on a track day, just me and my boyfriend, if it's possible, just to sort of prove to myself that the Tourette's hasn't got me and it's not developed and got more serious. I do know that the Tourette's severity can change, and I'm well aware of people that possibly couldn't race with their Tourette's condition. So I want to race while I can. And I might never get to that point where I have to stop racing. To me, it's all about proving that I can race. I am really lucky to have a great support system. I have a great co-driver. My boyfriend is very supportive over the whole thing. We'd only been going out for about a month when it developed. So he's really grown with me, and he's always been there supporting and pushing me and believing in me even when I didn't believe in myself. He knew that I could do it even when I doubted. So it's nice to have him. He made this video to remind me of the fear that I faced, and I didn't let the Tourette's and the tics stop me from having fun and driving. It's been about 5 years since I had my first tic attack, and I'm still trying to accept and process the fact that I have Tourette's syndrome, and it is taking me a long time, and I'm still learning how to deal with it and the best way to do it. I'm still working with a therapist to figure it out. I'm still trying to be more open and not be scared of it, because being scared of it leads me to suppress, which makes it worse. It's a journey, but I'm not letting it stop me at the same time. I think there are a lot more positive moves around disabilities in racing, which is a good thing. I think there needs to be a lot more awareness about hidden disabilities. Trying to get the hidden disability lanyard in the MSV circuits, for instance, would really help not only me, but also the people that come watch me. I have a lot of support that really matters to me from the Tourette's community. The Tourette's community is a very special place to be a part of, and I'm really grateful that they have held my hand during the scary time of trying to adjust to this major neurological condition that I have. I asked people that I race with a few different questions in order to see it from their perspective. For instance, what did they think when they heard that I had Tourette's syndrome? Were they worried about letting me behind the wheel of their car? It's a lot of responsibility to give to someone. I was also interested to see what they thought about my tic attacks, and because to me, they're quite scary and they must look scary to watch. I think people who haven't seen me tic and then they just see this massive tic attack, I feel like that could be scary. So I asked them what it was like when they first saw me have a tic attack.
So, question number 1. What were your first thoughts upon hearing I had Tourette's? Did you know much about it? Well, as you know, I have a master's degree in psychology and counselling, so yes, I knew quite a bit about it, because brain disorders is something that I find quite fascinating.
Obviously, I had an inkling. I think we both sort of knew, because obviously I've been through all the process of it with you. I didn't know a lot about it, only what you see on TV, and that's wasn't always representative of what I've seen you go through, and beyond that I was willing to learn whatever Tourette's might be.
I knew a bit more about it than most people, I think, because I'd seen Jess Tom on YouTube and a few other places. So I think a lot of people's impression of Tourette's is it just, it's the kind of, it's the one that makes you go sweary and makes you say things and things like that. But I knew that there was a kind of a physiological aspect to it as well. I knew that you could get tics that were quite debilitating and could render you unable to walk, possibly stand up, etc. So I knew there was a kind of physical side to it, but I think we kind of when we met you, I think we began to understand that you had a fairly good control over it. You had a fairly good indication on when things were when your tics were going to sort of manifest themselves, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, you're not the type that has the sort of permanent physical symptoms, which would have perhaps worried me about letting you in the car. But knowing that the majority of the time it's sort of in the background, under control, however you want to put it, and to know that, to know if there was anything we could do to help or to at least not make it worse, and to know that you have a good handle on it and know yourself when you're in danger of having a tic attack, that's fine.
I've been your passenger before, so I was no more worried after the diagnosis as I was before. No, I know that you know your limits. I know that you can hold the tics back, and to an extent at least, where if you felt like it was becoming unsafe, you would stop, or you would at least find somewhere safe to let it happen. But as yet, it's not happened to you on the racetrack.
As I said, because it was obviously just an intermittent issue with you, I didn't have an issue with letting you drive the car at all. Not a problem.
No, as I said, I think we understood what the sort of worst case scenario could be. But once we met you and understood your own personal
the Esther version of Tourette.
Yeah, the Esther version. I think we sort of we just knew you were going to be okay in the car. We didn't think there was going to be any sort of problems with it, really.
Yeah, I mean, we've known that you've raced other things and not had a problem, so...
Yeah, I mean, that was a big thing, knowing that you'd done racing in other cars, and we knew that wasn't a problem, so why would it be a problem in a 2CV?
And we met you at Rockingham, and you did a reasonably good impression of somebody quite normal, so it's all good. What were your thoughts about when you first saw me after the race having a tic attack?
I first thought you were air guitaring. Because I think the moment I realised, I first saw a sort of hand doing that.
Yeah, same here.
And I thought, that's strange. She's playing air guitar. And I didn't really. Well, and after a few minutes, I got it. But initially, I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's a strange reaction, I suppose. But yeah, then we understood there was an attack coming on, and it gave lots of warning. I think that was the main noticeable thing there, is there was quite a lot of warning before things became more of a problem. So I would imagine that if you were driving a car at the time when a tic attack came on, you'd understand the signs, and you'd think, right, well, I need to pull over, or I need to come back into the pits, or do whatever is necessary. This is probably going to get worse. You probably understand exactly what to do.
So I'm guessing this refers to the 2CV 24-hour race, where I know you didn't get a lot of sleep. You're not like me, you can't just fall asleep wherever and for however long is available. So tired Esther, after a long competitive 24 hours, had the biggest tic attack that I've seen, and yeah, it was bad. It was probably one of the worst, certainly the worst public one I've seen you have. And the only thing I really worried about was where other drivers that didn't know you, but that we'd sort of just mentioned the Tourette's as a courtesy before the race, might think twice about it the next time, but that never seemed to be the case. There never seemed to be anyone who felt like it was dangerous or that there was a problem.
Yeah, I mean, we are all reasonably well informed in the team. We know, and we'd asked you plenty of questions about how your Tourette's works and how you work, and I don't think anyone was sort of worried by the tic or scared by it. We just knew that it was something that might happen, and that it wasn't a surprise to you, and you were obviously dealing with it, and yeah, absolutely fine.
I think I'm very fortunate because in circuit racing, we're all quite a big family. In every series that I've done, it's been really friendly. Everyone's come up to me and congratulated me or chatted with me, and it's just a really big family, and it's really nice. So I hope that gives a bit more context what it's like to race with Tourette's. Comment below if you have any more questions. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and want to see or hear more about my Tourette's and my Tourette's journey. If you like this kind of video, then think about subscribing. I'll be taking you along at my next track day and race day at Croft Circuit, and it was pretty interesting. So think about subscribing, stick around, bye! Chicken in a box. Yo, I hate your feet. Don't know where that one came from.